Hello, class. Welcome to lesson 4 of our important book project. Today, we are going to look at revising and editing. What I want you to do is read over your important book very carefully and first revise and edit on your own. After that, please share your important book project with me, and I will help you revise and edit as well. Here's an example of an important book I wrote for Mrs. Van Hooydonk. I will go over how I am going to read it and how I will make changes to it in terms of both revision examples and editing examples. Let's go to the first square, or rectangle, if you will. The important about Mrs. Van Hooydonk is that she is always wanting and willing to help others. When you read your own writing, you can often find mistakes that you have made very quickly. Reading it out loud definitely helps. So let me read that one more time to you. The important about Mrs. Van Hooydonk is that she is always wanting and willing to help others. Did you hear it? There's definitely a word missing there, right? So the important blank about Mrs. Van Hooydonk, we should have something in there. So I'm going to put the important thing about Mrs. Van Hooydonk is that she is always wanting and willing to help others. Also, we have a nice little red squiggly line provided to us from Google Docs, and that indicates that Mrs. Van Hooydonk is not capitalized. Mrs. Van Hooydonk is a proper noun, and her name needs to be capitalized. On to the second rectangle. She really likes coffee, but without cream or sugar. She likes her coffee black. All of that sounds wonderful. However, you need to make sure that you have punctuation at the end of all of your sentences. In this case, she likes her coffee black does not have an end mark. We'll put a period there. Moving on to our third rectangle. She cares a lot about her family members. You can tell how much she loves them when she talks about them. Hmm, I didn't see anything or hear anything that sounded funny, so let me read that one more time. She cares a lot about her family members. You can tell how much she loves them when she talks about them. I do not see or hear any changes that need to be made for that rectangle. Moving on to rectangle number 4. Mrs. Van Hooydonk is a hard worker. She helps out students and teachers all the time. And after work, she helps out her customers at Bubba's all the time. Now, Bubba's is a restaurant. That is a proper noun, so we need to capitalize Bubba's. Moving on to the fifth rectangle. She is a humorous person. She likes a good joke. She also likes a good story that has funny moments. Google Docs has provided us with a blue squiggly line. The beginning of this sentence here is not capitalized. And as you know, beginning of sentences need to be capitalized. Moving on to the sixth rectangle. She is a problem solver. She is often trying to figure out how she or others could make things better. Well, in this instance, we have a nice red squiggly line provided to us by Google Docs once again. Figure is misspelled, it is incorrect. If you click on it, oftentimes Google Docs will provide you with the correct spelling, unless, of course, you have misspelled the word so poorly that they have no idea what you were trying to say. But they knew what I was trying to say. Moving on to the seventh box. She cares about the environment. She likes to read and learn about how we can make the earth a better place. Well, I see a big red squiggly line standing out, so to me, again, that shows that I have misspelled something. I'll click on it. There's the actual word environment and how you spell it. However, there's something else here that's not underlined in any way, and yet it is incorrect. And that again is this sentence has not been capitalized. So she cares about the environment. There we go. She is capitalized because it's a word at the beginning of a sentence. Last but not least, let's move on to the eighth rectangle. But the most important thing about Mrs. Van Hooydonk is that she is an awesome person. Well, the one thing that stands out to me right away is there's a big red squiggly line. Awesome. All right. So I click on that. There's the suggestion that is the correct way of how to spell awesome. However, there is a problem here. If you remember back to my previous lesson about what I want from you for the first box and the last box, we are trying to somewhat imitate The Important Book by Margaret Wise Brown. If you see and go back to our first box, we have the important thing about Mrs. Van Hooydonk is that she is always wanting and willing to help others. I am going to copy and paste this into the last box because we want to make sure that the first thing that we say and the last thing that we say is almost exactly the same thing. Okay? I'm actually going to delete this. So this would be a revision that we need to make with the story. Oops, sorry about that. So the important thing about Mrs. Van Hooydonk is that she is always wanting and willing to help others. The only thing that I want you to do for the last box is to write at the beginning the word but, the, and then I want you to add most. Okay? So, but the most important thing about Mrs. Van Hooydonk is that she is always wanting and willing to help others. Now, as you go back through your interview answers, as well as your knowledge about the person that you are partnering with, it's obviously an opinion in terms of all the things that you think are the most important about that person. But like I said before, please be very thoughtful in choosing the most important things about your partner because this is a meaningful book. It's an important book, obviously. So I want you to be very careful and very thoughtful when choosing the 7 most important things that you feel really speak to your partner's character. All right. Well, thank you for joining me. Please make sure that you check out the other lesson for the important book on publishing. Make a great day. Make a great important book, everyone.